I couldn't tell you how many times over the years I and people like me, colleagues, have saved people from having operations or got them uh, off allopathic medicines. People do want this in many cases. Always we tell people, we trained and we really should tell people that if you're going to come off your medicines that the doctors are giving you, then you should consult the doctor. This is very important. But it's a matter of giving them absolute choice, helping them to make the changes. The doctor I mentioned earlier, Dr. Richard Schultz, when we were students all those 35 years, more than 35 years ago, he would give us profiles of people with different medical conditions and give us their iris photographs and give us all the details we needed. And then he would say, what are you going to do for this person? And we would get in little groups and decide as students what we were going to do. And in almost every case, he would say, all this is good, but you've overcomplicated it. You don't need to go to these depths. You don't need every one of these herbs. You don't need every one of these changes. If you do this, that will happen. Therefore, you won't need to do the next stage. You can go on to this. It's like a flow, but it needn't be a complicated flow. So
it's simple. It can be drawn down to simple cause and effect as well.
Yeah,
it's taking notice of a little change here will change that, and this is being caused because of this small behavior here, or
well, it can be simple. We over the course of many years, in the early years, I heard several lecturers say it's almost like a bird that's migrating. They start off in England and they end up in Russia, and they don't only end up in Russia; they land in the same field in Russia year after year. Yeah. If they change course by even a tenth of a degree, they don't land up in the same field or even in Russia. They land up in a completely different area. And it's the same with healing.
Yeah.
Many, many times I've said to people, look, have a word with your doctor because these drugs are actually causing all the symptoms that you're presenting to me. Just see if there's something else we can be doing here. Or I've said to people, actually, it's this food or this drink or you really do need to cut down on that an awful lot. And they're that much better. People phone me up after a couple of weeks of taking herbal medicines and say, I didn't realize I could feel this good anymore. Okay, what have you done? Well, I've done everything that you said. I said, okay, that's fine. Now there's a little bit more you should be doing, or that's great, stick with what you're doing. I mean, it's not always that simple. Sometimes people, as I said earlier, they've had joint pain and inflammation for 40 years. It's not going to happen in a fortnight that they get an awful lot better, but the edge might be taken off the pain. The joints might be less stiff. Do you see what I mean? There's betterment.
Yeah.
There's betterment. Yeah. My own mother.
And people don't realize just how simple it can be because they find it hard to believe because of the conditioning. They find it if you just make this small, subtle change in lifestyle choice.
Sometimes it's that easy. You get someone with what the doctors name as depression, and sometimes they have few cups of chamomile tea during the day. I'm not recommending that for everybody with depression, but they have a few cups of chamomile tea, they get a really good night's sleep, and they're 10% better in the morning. And you go on from there. It can be that simple. It need not be complicated. Sometimes it is, but it need not be complicated. And I can honestly tell you that at this time, with new input of patients, I'm busier than I've ever been. For whatever reason is out there. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many theories behind it all, right? But I'm pretty sure. I don't want to, like we said before off air, like we should be tread lightly in this area because of certain things. But I mean, it's to be expected, right, Alan? This kind of this kind of result in health, in people's health. It's to be expected because of what's gone on over the last 3 years. And
Yes, it's not surprising. Mm. And of course, a lot of people are.
so you've seen then. So you've seen a is it a drastic increase in people's health issues, or
It is an increase in new patients coming through, and it's a drastic increase in old patients coming through with new symptoms.
Mm.
There's a big increase in the way I'm treating people with stress and anxiety, that type of thing, and there's a definite increase in what the doctors call neuropathic problems, nerve problems, physical nerve problems, and there's a massive increase in tiredness. Massive. I can't understand it. I don't know why. There are common factors that we maybe shouldn't mention here, but there's a dramatic increase in people saying, I cannot get going in the day. I'm having ginseng and guarana and brain boosting formulas, and I'm still tired. I cannot cope. I've had people say, I'm going to lose my job, and there is a common denominator running through this. Yeah.
okay, yeah, say no more.
No.